Hello, everyone, and welcome to Moving Mountains for you. Today, we have such a special guest. She not only is a doctor, but she does so much for women in general. And so it's such an honor to have her here. She also just recently was part of a co-author book called Helping Hands with Hope. And it's a stories of mighty women of men and God, and it is told from the perspective of women. It's six women sharing their stories, sharing what hope means to them, sharing just a little bit of them to you. And so you can find it on Amazon. The ebook is available. The paper copy is not available just yet, but it should be within a couple of days. So if you're hearing this, it's probably already out there. And so today we just have the great honor to definitely interview one of the co-authors, and literally it's two of the co-authors because I also was part of this collaboration. I did this book because God told me to. I'm a big faith person, and last year with COVID and everything that's happening, I just saw so much hopelessness that I literally was like, I need to publish something to not only help people like heal from their past, but at the same time, those people that are writing their stories inspire other people to heal from their own circumstances. And so, without further ado, this is Dr. Azi. I don't know how to say your last name very well.
So there's a few variations. So it's Ozzy. My last name is in Israel where I live, it's Yankovic. And in America, we used to say Jankovic. So you could go either way.
Yeah, and she's joining us from Israel. I'm Jewish, and so whenever I found out that she was over there already, I was like, oh wow. To me, my Jewish heritage is not something that I even know. Like I don't, my parents didn't go to a synagogue. They don't know any of the rituals. I learned that like kind of steady here and there. I don't go to a synagogue, but there's a saying in Spanish, la sangre te llama. So what that means is your bloodline calls to you. And so whenever I found that out that she was from over there, I was like, wow. And then
Wow. So let's start a class on the Jewish traditions.
yes, because I don't know a lot of them.
Okay, that'd be great. I would love to do that.
I mean, I have another Jewish friend too that she lives in California, and she's like, she knows a lot of Hebrew. I do not. And so I know one Hebrew song, and it's the only one that I have performed for on Clubhouse. It was like a global 3-day conference, and I performed that one Hebrew song along with a little bit.
Oh, that's so special. Well, I'm happy to help wherever I can. And thank you so much for inviting me to be on your show. It's really an honor to be here. And thank you for including my story in your book. It was a lot of fun and really meaningful to share that with you and your community.
Yes, I just put it out there, and I was like, well, God, you're gonna bring, and I wanted a specific date for it to be published. So I was like, whoever's in it is gonna be in it. Whoever's not, there's gonna be other ones because we're planning to have a series.
Beautiful.
The series of this collection is called Be You. Because I am a big numbers person, and it's 2001. So I was wanting 5 letters. And so I was like, I was thinking about it, and I was like, be you. I really, really want people to be themselves, to overcome imposter syndrome and all of those things. And so I really wanted to just have a series this year of being you. And so my first question for you is who in your life shared hope with you?
You know what? I have to tell you, you are showing me hope. My friends show me hope. There's so much hope that goes around, and I think in terms of the story that I shared in your book, I shared about a time in my life when I was going through a really hard mental health challenge. And I think the people who showed me hope were the people who just showed up day after day. The friends who called every single time I said I wasn't up to going out. They just kept calling. They believed I was going to get better. And I think that expression, right, that ability not to take something personally, not to take that no as a sign of rejection, but to really see that there's hope, that somebody can get better and to keep trying. I have so much gratitude for the friends in my life that were there for me at that time.
That's amazing because, I'm a big extrovert, and my husband and my son are not. They are introverts, extreme introverts. And so, most people, if you don't know what that means, because I know I have a lot of, I'm a teacher, so I have to explain certain words. When you're an introvert, you fill up, or you kind of refill your cup by being by yourself. If you're an introvert, if you are an extrovert, you draw, or you need to be around more people, and so you draw your little energy cup from being around other people. So I am a big extrovert, and so that's amazing that you say that just your friends kind of give you hope, because you like being part of friendship. There's such a powerful thing about friendship, and that's amazing. That it's it's just something so powerful when you can just know that you can rely on a good friend, and so that's awesome.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's so important. I think it's so important for our well-being, for our health, for, every element of our life, whether or not whether we're an introvert or an extrovert. I think we really all need each other so much.
That's definitely true. So my next question is, what keeps you from losing hope in situations where there seems to be none?
I think what keeps me from losing hope is this simple phrase, which in Hebrew you say "Gam zu latov," which means this too is for the good. And there's a cute little song that kids sing about, somebody he gets stranded by the bus. He doesn't make the bus in time. But this too is good because he's going to meet someone on the corner of the street that has something that he needs. And it's like this whole chain of events about, when things don't go our way at first, there's always a better plan. There's always something else behind the next corner. And I think it's that idea that really gives me hope. It keeps me, if something goes wrong, it's yesterday I got a notice in the mail. Okay. I'll tell you a personal story that my driver's license was canceled. And this is all in Hebrew. And I'm like barely understanding the legalese in Hebrew in this letter. And all I understood from this letter was my driver's license is canceled. So it turns out I was supposed to go to a course that was canceled because of COVID, and I never got a notice about a new one. So it was some sort of like clerical issue, error. And yesterday I was really shaken up about this, what do you mean I can't drive? I thought I wasn't gonna be able to drive. I didn't know for how long. And I called my close friend and she just reminded me, she says, you have enough faith to know that for whatever reason this is happening, it is going to have a good outcome. It is going to work itself out. You're going to figure it out. And sure enough, this morning we sorted things out. So it did. But listen, it's hard. I think it's hard. That's, a minor example. I think people go through, especially in the last, year and a half, we've seen so many issues come up. And I'm not going to say that this is easy, but at a certain point, we don't have another option. And I think it's important, Sachy, to feel our feelings. I think it's really important to be with the fear, the difficult feelings, whatever is going on. But at the same time, what are our choices? We can either fight and, fight what's going on, denial, negativity, or we can choose to keep our eyes open to the possibility that something else is waiting. And ultimately, that's the only way that we're going to find it, is if our eyes are open. So I really believe we have nothing to lose by staying hopeful and everything to gain.
That's awesome though, because there's just so much like wisdom that of everything that you just said. So anybody who is lacking wisdom out there, just definitely listen to two fellow moms. And I think when you're a mom and when you have good leadership, when you have good experiences as mothers, and even if you didn't, and you just kind of learn how to be like, I mean, really, when it comes, like you said, down to faith, I draw so much inspiration and hope from my faith. And, it doesn't matter what faith that you are in right now. If it's not serving you, definitely question it. I'm just going to tell you that, because I know in Islam it's against the law literally to question your faith. But I'm just saying, if you have some kind of faith in something, if you have some kind of if you're holding on to something and it's not serving you, even if you do it in secret. I literally had an interview with the girl from Nepal where she said she was raised, Hindu, and she had so many gods, and she literally was raised to hate Christians. And I'm like, wow. And now she's a Christian, and she did not disclose her name because she wanted to protect her family. She was still fearful of that. And so faith is such a powerful thing. And I always tell everybody I'm your Latina Jesus Jew. I always tell them that because I'm Jewish and I believe in Jesus and I am a Latina. So faith is something that's so powerful, and I'm just so glad to hear that faith is something that that how it keeps you from losing hope. So my next question is, why is it important to keep hope within?
I think it comes back to what we just spoke about, having hope is giving ourselves the gift of possibility. Imagine somebody goes to the doctor and they get a diagnosis and they have no hope, they're out of hope. And they decide that instead of working on getting better, there's no point, it's hopeless. And that's it. And they give up and they don't go back. And yet medicine progresses and new opportunities become available, but they had no hope. There were no doors open because they had already given up. And I think that's what giving up is. It's forgetting or ignoring the fact that the world is fluid. Life is constantly changing. We have new discoveries, we have new inventions, we have conversations that can happen that can, turn things around, things that we don't yet know about that can help us. And it just goes on and on. So I think it's really important to remember that.
Yeah, it's super important to remember all of those memories and all of those instances where you might have lost hope. And, like you said, faith was something that brought it back, or, and so I think when it comes to memories, sometimes I know it's happened to me so many times where in a moment I was like, is this really going to happen? Is this really what's going to the ending result? And so, I know this isn't on the question list that I sent you, but what would you say to someone that maybe is in a situation where they don't see it, they don't see hope? So what would you say to someone who is in that moment right now?
I think I would just be there for them. I think I would just listen and try to empathize because life can be really, really
Sorry, you there?
being with someone and really empathizing and being with them, and validating their experience. I think that simply taking the time and really investing in someone can be an expression of hope without preaching or dismissing someone's experience.
Yeah, that's awesome though, because when you really, in the Bible it says to when your brother or sister is crying, to be in the same kind of feeling, with them. And that's awesome that you say that. It reminds me of extending a little grace to people. I think there's so much that people, and I don't know, I've noticed it more with women just because I'm a woman. I don't think we're very graceful for each other sometimes.
Mm.
Sometimes we are, but sometimes we're not. Like, we're very, very analytical within, not only within ourselves, but with the people around us. And so I think when you extend grace instead of um, sometimes discipline, or sometimes I would just advise you to,
Criticism.
yeah, criticism. If you just extend grace, then I think that's definitely something that people might be surprised, and that it will probably, want them to lean to you more. And also, just not only that, but just have hope, that whatever that they're going through, that you're going to be there for them. And so I definitely love your words.
Thanks.
It's something
Thank you,
that
Sachy.
I've always anytime that I let anybody on my podcast, I always do my research, because I'm like, I like to protect my viewers' ears. I like to protect my subscribers on my YouTube channel, because it's my channel. I've been offered so many people that and I'm like, I'm very, very selective. I'm very, very, I just, I always just say, I feel like God leads me to the people that is going to not only help whoever is listening, but also be part of their journey. And so I'm just so glad that we connected. I think it was through,
Thank you.
I'm not sure. I was trying to figure out, I was like, how do we connect? And I think
Clubhouse. I think it was in Clubhouse.
yeah, I think it might have been, so shout out to the Clubhouse makers because I teach on there. I do virtual conferences on there. And that's my favorite social media app right now because, God spoke the world into existence. And literally that's all you can do on that app. And so,
So
and
true.
as a teacher, I edit a lot of stuff. I get people published. And so I edit so much content. And so sometimes it's just really nice to just hear someone's voice and not have to worry, oh, did I spell that right? You know what I mean? Like, so I think it's really
Absolutely.
refreshing. But thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for this interview. And is there any shout outs or closing remarks you want to say?
Sure. Just thank you so much for having me. It's really been a pleasure. And yeah, people can find me, my work, the community that I lead at my website, which is drozzy.co. And I have my show and, all sorts of resources available over there as well. So I'm happy to share that with your listeners.
Yeah, and just for anybody who doesn't know how to spell that, it's DRAZI dot.
.co. Exactly.
So I know.
Sachy, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and thank you for anybody that's listening. If you are interested in any of her services, definitely reach out to her, and we will definitely be on this next segment. We have one that's coming up for another one of the co-authors. So thank you so much for anybody that's already listening and already following our podcast. Our podcast is called Moving Mountains for You. We also have a Spanglish podcast. It's called Transcending La Familia. We use all of this content for our students. So they listen to it and we cover it the next week. And so thank you so much for being on here. And God bless, take care, and peace be with you.
Thanks so much.
All right.